The chase heats up at one of the fastest, widest tracks in the circuit. And for 28 drivers tonight, it could still be anybody's race. You are watching ETV Live's coverage of the Integrity Racing League Chase on the Saturday night series presented by Butt Kicker Gamer and a bunch of other guys. How you doing, everybody? It's Joe Cortez, joined by the cowboy himself, J.D. Webb. And JD, we're in for a treat tonight. 28 drivers trying to tame the 2 miles here at Michigan.
You bet. Located here in Brooklyn, Michigan. 85,000 people on hand for tonight's race. Speedway Corp, International Speedway Corp, owns this place. They broke ground here in 1967. They opened it up here, Joe, in 1968. And I'll tell you what, it's an asphalt track, 2 miles in length, like you said. A little bit of banking in a turn, about 18 degrees or so. And, of course, 12 degrees on the front stretch. So looking for a good race here tonight, and the Silverado trucks ought to be a good night tonight.
You know, and this is in Michigan International Speedway. I've been there before. I've camped in the infield. This is arguably one of the most fan-friendly tracks in the circuit. You can follow their president on Twitter. You can follow the track on Twitter. It makes for a lot of fun. They're very interactive. Michigan International Speedway, it's very fitting that you should have an interactive race at arguably the most fan-friendly, most interactive track in all of NASCAR. The stars align tonight. And for a lot of guys out here, 28 drivers will take the call when we go to Green Flag Racing. It's another opportunity to get some points in this series. Last week, they were at Martinsville, and points leader Andrew Fayash III. He is a NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship driver. Took the checkered flag after an incredibly dominant performance. 122 laps led of 200, and he will only serve to increase his points lead over the chase. And I know tonight he wants to absolutely add to.
You know, last week at Martinsville, it was Fayesh, Sheila, Hudson, Guest, Michael Duell in there. I mean, there's about 4 or 5 cars that just pretty much drove away from the field, and they kind of had their own race going on, right up to the point where Duell missed his pit and had to stay out as the rest of the field came in and made their pit stop. That put Duell back several positions. Yeah, I think he finished in 5th place there in Martinsville last week. But I'll tell you what, Cowboy, it was a pretty darn good race. 9 lead changes, 9 cautions, and a good night at Martinsville for these guys. But right now, we're going to get things started here at Michigan International Speedway. Tough places on the track here tonight's going to be turn 1, Joe. You're not going to see these guys tucked down on that apron line like we used to see in the past. They're going to take that middle to upper lane through turns 1 and 2. Down the backstretch, got to be careful going into 3 and 4. That could get away from you coming off the exit of 4, heading down that front stretch. And, of course, look for them to take that apron lane all the way to the grass, Cowboy. But, hey, keep them left tires on the pavement. Don't let them get on that grass.
Don't let them get on that grass at all, you know. And what an added challenge here for them at Michigan International Speedway is these trucks are set up and lined up a whole lot differently than the irregular Sprint Cup style cars, your nationwide style cars. Because of that weight difference, because of that weight transfer difference, it's going to be a completely different style of racing for these guys tonight. They can go 2 wide, they can easily go 3 wide, but the lines available to them are going to be fewer and far between. They're not going to be able to have the same kind of lines that you would in a regular car, which is going to make for some very competitive driving, and it's going to make for some guys to make some very interesting decisions as the time ticks down, especially when we see pit stops.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, looking for an exciting night here at Michigan with these boys tonight. But let's take them down through the points and let everybody know who's who and who's where here with Integrity Racing in chase race number 4 here at Michigan, Joe.
Andrew Fayash III, NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship driver, is currently first in points. He has a 10-point lead over Michael Duell. And both of them picking up some major position after their performances at Martinsville last week. Brad Patton, who was your points leader before Martinsville, drops 2 spots. He will be 18 points behind. Tied for him in 3rd is Jacob Fife. Both of them 18 points behind, still viable for the championship here at Integrity Racing. Bruce Koenig Jeff Barger in 5th. Bruce Koenig in 6th. Alan Rowell in 7th. Daniel Holloway is 8th. Brian Harvey 9th. Jim Fife, Matt Busa, and Matthew Wright round out your top 12. So you have a lot of competitiveness here. You have a lot of competition, a lot of strong drivers, and yet a couple names you might recognize from the iRacing.com World Championship Series. And with all this talent here tonight, it's going to make for an incredible show. We talked about shootouts often, but Cowboy, I think we're going to be getting ready for a big one tonight.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, a couple of guys to look out for here tonight. You got a couple of drivers up there near the top, Brad Patton, Jacob Fife. Both of them down a few positions this week coming to Michigan, but you know what? They're sharing that same seat, sitting up there in third place. So I want to keep an eye on those two guys. Now let's slip down here just a couple of more notches. Let's go down to Matt Busa, Matthew Wright. Only 1 point separates those two, and both of them are only 10 points in back of Jim Fife up in 10th. So Jim Fife moving up a couple of notches this week. I tell you what, that could be a three-way battle for positions back down there in 10th, 11th, and 12th. So a couple of battles going on here tonight. You can even take a look at 5th and 6th. Jeff Barger, Bruce Koenig. They're only a couple of points off of one another. And I'll tell you what, it will be a tough fight tonight for a lot of these guys. So looking for a good race here at Michigan.
A lot of guys be driving here tonight. A lot of guys driving hard. My eyes on Christopher Schella, currently first on the pole, or currently sitting on the pole position. Will he hold on to it? We will find out in just a moment. Right now, though, let's kick it down tracks for our annual tradition, the national anthem as sung by the Cactus Cuties.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The Cactus Cuties once again singing our national anthem, and the virtual Thunderbirds can't be stopped by a government shutdown giving us the flyover tonight. Trucks are lining up on the front stretch. Let's go ahead and take you down the starting lineup. 28 trucks will take the call tonight to start the engines. Leading them down will be the 02 of Christopher Schella. 31.034 seconds is his time to start the group tonight. On the outside of him, the 18 of Brad Patton. 41.063. He'll be on the outside of row number 1.
In row number 2, driving at number 13 tonight, it'll be Matthew Wright on the inside. Outside him in the number 4 spot is going to be the number 91 of Cody Kunstner.
Michael Guest will be no guest to the top 5 as he starts on the inside of row number 3 in the 74. Outside of him, Anthony Yankello in the 8 starts 6.
And Michael Duell will be starting in the number 88 machine in 7th. Remember him last week. He had it in the bag, but a late pit stop, missing his pit last week, set him back to 5th. Outside him, Andrew Fish, your points leader, in that number 77.
Jacob Fife will start on the inside of row number 5 in the 36 truck. Outside of him, Keith Dunn in the 35 starts 10th.
And the number 63 machine, that belongs to Jim Fife. He'll start 11th position tonight. Outside him in the number 92 and 12th, that belongs to Michael E. Campbell.
Trevor Cameron in the 60 will start on the inside of row number 7. Outside of him, Chris Freeman, the last truck to take time on this field, starts 14th.
And in 15th, the 03, that's Colin Keister. Jeff Barger, who'll be starting in the 31 in 16th on the outside.
Bobby Keith starts on the inside of row number 9. The 6 machine outside of him, the 69 of Bruce Koenig. He will start all the way back at 18th, 6 in points.
Row number 10 looks like this. The 64 car, that belongs to Robert Cook on the inside. Outside is the 26 of Daniel Holloway.
Row number 11 belongs to Nick Staller on the inside in the 00. Michael Gingerella in the 19 on the outside.
Patrick Davis, he sits in the number 3 machine on the inside in the next row. Outside him in that number 27 is Jeffrey Gingerella.
Josh Buckley in the 11, Thomas Ridgway in the 10, James Hickson in the 44, and the 94 of Alan Rockwell rounds out the rest of your field tonight here at Michigan International Speedway. 100 laps around this track, 200 miles total for each of these trucks. And listening in to the drivers' meeting, I got a very interesting statistic out here. The interesting statistic I received, these guys have a limit of 4 pit stops tonight. They've got a limit of 16 tires, and they get 1 reset. So if they end up getting wrecked out, if something happens to them, they'll be able to at least reset 1 time. Andrew Fayash III is going to be given an end of the longest line penalty. I believe he had an engine blow during qualifying, so he's going to have to rebuild that engine and start at the tail end of this field, which is great news for all the people chasing him in the chase.
Absolutely. That's going to put Christopher Schella out in front, Brad Pratton, Matthew Wright, Cody Kunster, Michael Guess, your top 5 on the start. Here the pace car pulls off down pit road. No 2 picking up the green flag, and we're off and running here at Michigan Speedway for 100 laps.
Check up midfield out there. That's going to start somewhere around the number, check that, this is going to be the number 00 of Nick Stoller behind him. They were checking up. Bottom of the 3 of Patrick Davis, Tom Ridgway, Josh Buckley, all involved in that checkup, but we are still green flag racing. Nobody spun, nobody went through, so we start clean on the field. Chris Schella will take the lead. Brad Patton falls in line behind him. Matthew Wright, Cody Kunstner. Now Kunstner gets underneath Wright in the 91 machine, battles for third between the 13 and the 91. 91 has the advantage. Will he be able to complete the pass? Not necessarily. Too wide racing starting early here at Michigan.
Already, I'll tell you what, it looks like back there, but except for this battle up here. But hey, take it on up front. Battle happening for the lead. Brad Patton to the inside of the 02. That's Christopher Schella up on the outside. Patton's at the disadvantage on the bottom here. Schella should get a good run off the top. Doesn't look like he's going to make it. The 02 is going to lose the position to Brad Patton.
Crossover now almost happening, not quite. Brad Patton will hold on to the lead for now. Chris Schella in 02 will trail behind him. Look for and see what happens in turns 3 and 4. Behind him, more battling for position happening. Cody Kunstner in the 91 in 3rd. Michael Guest in 74th. Now battling for 4th place under Matthew Wright in the 13. 13-74 back and forth. Michael Guest has the advantage, and like an unwanted guest, he will steal away the position. Michael Guest on the apron moves up to 4th. Battle for the lead once again.
I'll tell you what, these guys are going after it right here from the get-go here. Brad Patton, Christopher Sheila up here in the front, and it looks like it's going to be the 02 back up to the front. That's Christopher Sheila. So I'll tell you what, swapping back and forth. Bonus point scored for both of these guys so far. Who's next?
Who's next is yet to be seen. Let's keep an eye on the front, too, as they continue to run single file. Patton not looking like he's going to challenge lead right now. Schella will go ahead and pick it up in the 02 machine. He will continue to lead that entire lap around. So Chris Schella is not running for points out here. He's not running for a championship. Chris Schella currently scored 23rd in points. So at this point, he's got nothing to lose. He's running out there for the win. He's going to run out there as strong as he can and just have a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Schella proving that he is still a contender, even though he's out of it, currently running in the lead.
And it looks like Brad Patton might have been peeking on the inside here, looking for another pass, but I tell you, he's staying right hooked up to the 02 up here. Interesting note here, Brad Patton, he's 176 points to the good side. He is the leader for the Buck Cooker Rookie of the Year award here with Integrity Racing. So, I mean, Brad Patton certainly looking for a trophy at Michigan here tonight. We'll see if he can't take one home. In the meantime, pretty much single file all the way back to about 6th position. The 8 car, that's Anthony Yankella up on the top side as the 88 of Jacob Fife comes down here on the bottom here. The 8 car, I would think that he would have an advantage up there top. as you can see them side by side here, almost going 3 wide. 36 on the inside, taking a peek, but doesn't have the horsepower to get up there, Joe. I tell you what, he's going to fall in behind the 88 up here, or the 8 machine of Yankello, and stay with it.
They almost run in box formation there for a second. Jim Fife in the 63. He will lead that group behind him. Daniel Holloway in the 26 makes the pass. He will pick up position number 13. The 17 of Chris Freeman falls back to 14. Nick Stoller stalled out on that pass attempt when they attempted to go 3 wide. That is because draft is everything here. It's a very long track. You cannot make it around by yourself. You need a little bit of help, or you need to slingshot it just right through the turn. Stoller in the 00 once again trying to slingshot it. He might have it this time, but look above him. They've got some company up there. Chris Freeman and Patrick Davis pushing each other back and forth. Not going to be enough, though. The 00 of Nick Stoller picks up position, put him in 14th. Chris Freeman falls back to 15th, and now Patrick Davis in the 3 looking for some trouble.
And I'll tell you what, you got 8 cars up there, 8 trucks, pick-em-up trucks, Cowboy. These are the things you call hay and horses in. Let's go back here to about 9th position. Kevin Keister back here. He's the first car in the second pack, but he's almost 2 seconds behind the leaders up here. Quite a bit of difference up there. Now Keith Dunn, who's in 10th position in that 35 machine, is behind Keister here, but he's about a second, about 0.8 of a second behind Keister. So it would behoove these guys, Joe, to get together, work that draft here at Michigan, and try to get up there in front with the top 8 drivers up there right now.
And the one guy I'm keeping an eye on right now is your points leader, the 77 of Andrew Vayash III. He's already told a couple drivers he's not going to fight him a whole lot tonight. Vayash now dropping off the track. Electrical problems early for the 77. Looks like they're back on track and figuring it out, but not a good look. Electrical problems for the 77 could knock him off the pedestal tonight.
All the way back to 28th position. So I tell you what, Vayash started up there in the top 10 and 8th. So drifting back to the back of the pack here to stay out of trouble and try to protect the rest of them out here.
Now there's a huge battle brewing around that 4th place position. It all starts with the 88 of Michael Duell. He's going to run on the inside, now down on the apron. Cars or trucks everywhere back there. Duell score him in 2nd. Matthew Wright currently scored up front in 1st. And we got battles going back and forth for this lead right now. Wright cannot hold back. Looks like the Michael Guest out there, they are almost running 3 wide now through the group.
You bet. And, interesting fact about Michael Duell, he finished 4th here in June in the spring race here at Michigan after leading 40 laps. So he also had, I think he must have been, I'm looking for, through the stats here, probably some kind of a late caution or something that kept him out of the front, but Duell, after leading 40 laps, finished 4th here in the spring race.
They're running 3x2 now on the group. Matthew Wright scored on paper as your leader that time by Michael Duell, though, not willing to give it up anytime soon. He's running that high line for everything it's worth. Duell in the 88. Matt Wright in the 13. These guys are running incredibly hard. Let's go ahead and go on camera. No, check that. We're
3 wide.
Up here. As they go 3 wide now. The 18, the 13, the 36. 13 has nowhere to go. He's going to fall back. They are 2 wide back to turns 3 and 4. The 13, biggest loser in that group. And now here comes Duell up top, Fife down below. The 88, 36. 88 almost touches the wall, but he's going to come and bring it back down onto the apron. The 88 continues to lead. Michael Duell. Now it's a 36 and 13. 2x2x2. They go into turn number 1.
2x2x2 all the way. I tell you what, this is neck deep up here, about to 9th position. Keister finally catches up to these guys. Cody Kunzer along for that ride as well, back here in 8th position in the 91 machine. But Keith Dunn still struggling back here, 10th position in that number 35 machine. Dunn is running about 2.2 seconds behind the leaders here. Got left out of that run with Keister up to the front, so he's got some catching up to do here.
Cowboy, we said it earlier tonight, this is a very wide track. We're going to see a lot of different lines being used. All of those lines now being used and all of them in play. Duell has a time zone now between him and the rest of the pack. The pack content to fight amongst themselves for the scraps. Matthew Wright leads it. Jacob Fife in the 36. Then it's Michael Guest, Brad Patton, Christopher Schella, Anthony Yankello, Colin Keister, and Cody Kunstner rounding out the pack of 9 that's going to continue to fight. 3 wide now going into turns 3 and 4. The 88, the 33, the 02, all battling for position. Count the 36 in them as well. Each of these guys looking for something. 02 gets squirrely through turns 3 and 4, able to hold back the 33, but it opens up a gap between the 13 and the 74.
I'll tell you what, there's a couple of different battles happening on the track here tonight. Let's go all the way back here to about 13th position back here. We'll start out with Keith Dunn. He's finally caught up to a couple of trucks up here in the 92 of Michael Campbell up here. Was taking a peek at the 26 of Daniel Holloway up here in 10th. So a little bit of a battle. Holloway almost loses it coming off of turn 2 down the backstretch, able to hang on to it, but he's got the 92 breathing down the bumper back here, and then here comes the number 3 of Patrick Davis on the bottom with the 35 on the top. So a little bit of a battle heating up back here in the back as well, guys.
Let's go on the tailgate of the 74. That's Michael Guest, and you can see just how close the battles are behind him. The 13 immediately back there. The 36 of Jake Fife hunting back there, waiting for one of these guys to make a mistake. And then I don't know how far back we can see on that tailgate, but there's a 03 of Colin Keister, Brad Patton, Chris Schella, all now running in line, all waiting to make a move, all waiting for something to happen. Chris Schella in the 02 machine. He is hunting back there, starting to get out of the line, see if he can get around the 18. Will he have the horsepower to make it happen? Through 3 and 4, has the jump, has the advantage. They are side by side. The rest of the line goes low. Perfect position for the 02 of Schella. Is he going to get around the 18? Not quite yet. Doorcam on the 18. You see the 2 passing by him.
I'll tell you what, we probably need another set of broadcasters and a couple of sets of cameras back here. This battle's still happening. About 14th position with the 69 of Bruce Koenig now in the picture on the bottom. 2x2x2 up here with a couple of pink trucks up in front. That's going to be the 26 machine of Daniel Holloway. Out front of him is still the 92 of Michael Campbell, but the 13 truck involved here, the 35 Keith Dunn giving up a position to Bruce Koenig here about a half a lap ago. I tell you what, this battle is shaping up just like the one up there in front. And then let's take it back to about 16th position, the 19 of Michael Gingerella on his way in to mix it up with this group up here. So we've got 2 distinct races going on here at Michigan here tonight, Joe.
Patrick Davis able to get the position. He will be scored in the top 10. Now Mike Campbell in the 92 in 11. The 92 and 26 now side by side behind him. 69 high, 35 low. They continue to battle. The 19, he's just kind of watching around. Oh, 69 goes around now. That's going to be the first yellow flag of the night. The 69 machine of Bruce Koenig gets sideways, gets messed up in the turn. Might have been an electrical issue that caused the 2 cars to collide. Yellow flag will fly for the first time tonight. 69, the first casualty of the evening.
Taking a second look here is Koenig in the 35 machine. Koenig in the 69 riding up there on the top side up there going in turn 1. Looks like he gets in there just fine. No problem with the turn entry. And all of a sudden it just kicks around on him. Something broke in the steering mechanism of that number 69 Silverado machine of his tonight and puts him in the wall. So first caution of the night here at Michigan.
The way it hit, it looked like he has some damage on the back end of that machine and heavy left side damage for the 69. Good news for him, he does get 1 reset, so he will be able to get that car repaired and get that car looking brand new once again if he so elects to, which if I were him, I'd go ahead and take it now because you never know if you're going to get another opportunity and if it's too late when that opportunity comes around. Remember, folks, these guys only get 4 pit stops. They only get 8 tanks of gas and 16 tires to put on these trucks. So you cannot come down every single yellow flag. You can only come down 4 times. And the question is, when do you want to start coming down to make those adjustments, to make those tires and get that fuel? Because they only get 4 full services on these trucks. Coming down pit road will be the 88. The 74 is going to come down. The 13, 36 will be the first one out. Colin Keister in, Chris Schella in, Brad Patton in, Anthony Yankello, everybody down on pit road except for that one. Only that one truck remains. The 36, he stays out.
Wow, I'm surprised, Joe, with 4 pit stops. So we got 18 laps in the books right now. This is a 100-lap race, so I don't know. A little surprised that they would come down this early. But then on the other hand, a couple of these guys might be, they may be looking at a fuel strategy here as well. I mean, that's not uncommon here at Michigan. But I'll tell you what, with 18 laps in the books, let's step away, take a real quick commercial break. You're watching it live, ETV Live, Cowboys, so don't wander off. We'll be right back with more action from Michigan Speedway.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to ETV Live's coverage of Integrity Racing League, the truck series at Michigan International Speedway. Pace car takes the hard left turn down pit road. Everybody came down pit road, but Jacob Fife in the 36. Flag flies, and Fife may be at a disadvantage. Everybody with 4 brand new sticker tires behind him. He's the only one on old tires. Let's see how he makes it work. Get the green flag. Everybody else now battling for position. First battle on the fields around the 88 of Michael McDowell. 3 wide already as the 94 of Alan Rowell gets forced to go backwards.
I'll tell you what, 3 wide going down the backstretch here. We got the 88 in the middle. That's Michael Dooley, 03 on the bottom here. And 13 of Matthew Wright up on the top. That's not going to work for Wright. He's going to get freight trained here as he gets passed by the 02 of Christopher Sheila and the 88 of Michael Dooley. But I'll tell you what, let's go back to Jacob Fife up here. He's only going to get about maybe 3 or 4 good laps out of it. Might not even be that as the 74 comes alongside for the lead. Michael Guest down there on the bottom of 36 will go backwards here the next couple of laps, and that might have been not a wise thing to do to stay out on this last pit stop. I think I probably would have come down with the rest of them and gotten at least tires.
36 now under fire once again, this time in the 0-3 of Colin Keister. Keister have no problems getting around the 36, and now you're seeing the brand new tires versus the old tires at work here at Michigan. The 36 starting to fall backwards through this field. Michael Duell will collect him now on the apron. The 18 of Brad Patton's going to join him. The 0-2 of Chris Schell is going to join him as well. The 36 of Fife nowhere to go out there. He's going to continue to fall back through the field. You know, not necessarily the best move to stay out when everybody else around you has brand new tires, but he's going to stay out. I got to give him credit. I think he might be trying to do something here. He might be trying to run a different pace than everybody else going down pit road. He might be trying to work a different pit strategy, which at the end might be the one thing that saves him.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, Jacob Fife, he didn't have so good of a finish at Martinsville last week, finishing 22nd. And I think he got into a little bit of difficulty there last week, but maybe looking for a little bit of redemption. Fife up a couple of notches this week coming into the race in 10th in points. So, Fife may be looking at some kind of a fuel strategy playing out for him here tonight. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And scratch that. I was talking, I actually misspoke. Jim Fife, this is not Jim Fife. We're talking about Jacob Fife. He's actually up in 3rd position, down 2 positions this week coming into Michigan.
Colin Keister takes away the lead in the 0-3 from the 74 of Guest. Now it's going to be a dogfight between the 0-3, the 88, and the 18. Michael Duell picks up 2nd place position. Brad Patton about to pick up 3rd. 2 by 2, they run in the box formation through turns 1 and 2. The 0-3 now having some electrical troubles out there, figures it out, and he continues to run on the outside. The 0-3 gets a little squirrely coming off the turn, but he's got to run out there. He's got to run, and he might be able to make it work on his own. 94 on now having problems. 94 in trouble. Yellow flag flies for the 2nd time tonight. Alan Rawl getting in trouble. That front end, that back end, burnt up real bad. He's going to need that reset.
A little bit of help from the 31 of Jeff Barger back here on lap 24. Just going into turn 1 here. It looks like the 94 just gets a little bit sideways, and 31 kind of helped them around there just a little bit. But a lot of damage to that 94 on the back end there. As we take a second look here, and I tell you what, looks like actually looks like the 94 just started going around, and then partway around the 31 kind of straightens him back up again, but a little bit too hard of a lick as he tries to keep control of that 94 machine of his, but a hard lick into that outside wall. It's going to do some major damage on the front and the back end of that Silverado, Chevy Silverado of his. So this may be he's got 1 reset actually here. I keep forgetting that the integrity allows these guys 1 reset. This may be the one that he uses up here tonight at Michigan. All right, looks like somebody must have tripped over the cord and unplugged Joe's microphone cable here tonight. So we'll tough it out, and looks like Fife has finally come down pit road, the 36 machine. So, we questioned why Fife stayed out. I'll tell you, this might be a lucky caution for that 36 team, as he immediately went backwards on the last restart. So Fife will come down into his pit box. It'll be 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats for that 36 team, and get back out on the track. Also on pit road, I believe that's the 88 of Michael Duell. This is the 2nd time for him down pit road. A little unusual to see that. He did pit the first time by on that last caution before that last restart. So the 88 machine giving up position, come down pit road. Brad Patton out there, or Colin Keister out in front. Brad Patton, the 18 machine. Brad Patton, again, he's the points leader in the Buckhead Rookie of the Year awards, and it looks like this. Brad Patton out in front by 176, 20 points back at 156 is Hudson. Kunstner sits in 3rd at 149, 10 points below him is Freeman in 4th. Andrew Fash is 5th in the rookie points, but he's not running for the award here. 6 is Lampert. Sheila with 71 points. In 8th is Chandler. Stroll in 9th, rounding out your top 10 in the Butt Kicker Rookie of the Year points, is right at 56 points. So Brad Patton is being 20 points out in front of Hudson. This could be a battle all the way to the final race here with Integrity Racing. So, but I'll tell you what, at 26 laps in the books here at Michigan, sounds like somebody might have plugged Joe's mic back into the mixer. So, Joe, welcome back, bud.
You know, we really do need to work on the intern and their booth etiquette, I should say.
You think?
I think we need to have an HR discussion about that one.
HR, is that something like being called to the red hauler or whatever that used to be with NASCAR?
We need our own red hauler, JD. Let's put it that way. Your hauler's painted red, isn't it?
Oh yeah, pink and blue polka dots or something like that. Hey, what? Oh, now I'm getting flack from the trailer down there, the production trailer. But hey, let's talk about Butt Kicker Gamer 2 here, sponsoring the Infinity Racing League Rookie of the Year Award. The Butt Kicker Gamer 2 lets you feel all the action from your games and simulators. Feel the gut-wrenching punch of the machine gun fire, the pounding of chopper blades. I'll tell you what, the explosions, rumble strips, and a whole lot more. Turn down or turn off your subwoofer and feel it through the seat of your pants. All the bass, the movies, the video games, the music comes alive even when using headphones. Give your game some realism. It's a silent subwoofer that lets you feel the explosions, crashes, and special effects. Butt Kicker Gamer 2 at buttkicker.com.
So the pace car lights are out. They will restart as follows. Colin Keister will start out first. Brad Patton on the outside of him in second. Michael Guest, Chris Schella, Matt Wright, your top 5. Patrick Davis, Anthony Yankello, Cody Kunzner, Daniel Holloway, Bobby Keith, your top 10. And still at the tail end of this field, Andrew Vash, the third, your points leader. If he can't find a way to get up front, he might be giving away that points lead tonight. So the pace car will make the hard left turn down pit road. We are just about ready to go back. Green flag racing. Colin Keister will lead them all the way down through the field. Pace car getting the heck out of the way. Colin Keister wastes no time. Green flag flies once again on lap 27. We'll be back. We're scoring now lap 28 as soon as they cross that line. Over a quarter away done at tonight's race, and the 03, the 18, the 74 now doing battle behind them. More battling, the 13, the 02, 2 by 2 all the way to position number 8.
You know, I'm back in the restart up here. I'm looking at the number 8 machine, 7th position, Anthony Yankello on the start here. It just seemed like he got off to a really slow start here on the get-go. Might have been in the wrong gear from the looks of it. Probably a second gear start here. He might have had that thing jammed up into third and just couldn't get that machine going. But Anthony Yankello back on the gas here, trying to make it happen. He'll work himself up into that draft and catch up with Kunzer and the 3 machine of Patrick Davis up here pretty quickly. But just looked kind of strange with the 8 machine back there, just kind of lollygagging on the start there.
Temporarily 3 wide between the 11, the 69, and the 10. The 10 gets the bottom end of that one. That is going to be the 10 machine of Thomas Ridgway. A little contact made as they tried to go 3 wide there. He was forced to go way high into the marbles, able to save it though. No wall contact, and Ridgway will get out of it, but he's going to lose quite a few positions. Ridgway now under fire from Michael Duell in the 88 machine. Something to mention about the 88, he did come down last time by for 4 new tires and a full fuel run. The 88 is now used 2 of his 4 available pit stops, so he may be looking at a little bit of trouble later on in this race. He hasn't used his restart, so if he needs to reset, he can, but 2 pit stops out of the way, he's already looking at being in a little bit of trouble, maybe even digging a little hole for himself.
And Yankello's got some company up here in 8th position, the 8 truck up here on the bottom. He's got got a wreck happening.
Trouble on the track. Looks for 2 trucks into the wall. Turns 3 and 4. It's going to start. Looks like with the number 63 of Jim Fife. He's going to go into the wall hard. Also going down there with him is Jeff Gingerella in the 27 machine. He's now down on pit road. Both those cars took a heavy licking into the wall. Green yellow flag out once again on the field. check that green flag. We are still green flag racing, even though those two trucks took a heavy lick. And Colin Keister still up front. Brad Patton, Michael Guest rounds out your top three.
Yeah, heavy looking at the outside wall by the 27 machine up here. A little unusual. Sometimes the cautions come out on these tracks and sometimes they don't for various reasons. But I'll tell you what, that 27 took a heck of a lick into the outside wall here. But still green flag here at Michigan.
Still green flag. Battles now for second with the 74 of Guest and the 18 of Patton. They are battling back and forth side by side. The 74 has the advantage on the low side. Michael Guest will pick up position. He will move up to second. Brad Patton moves up to third. Chris Schella now in fourth, and they are single file all the way back to the 64 machine of Robert Cook, all the way in 10th. Then behind them, another draft is brewing. Jeff Barger, Michael Gingerella still among that mix. Dan Holloway, Nick Stalker, all of those guys going through. And I think Gingerella peeled down pit road to use one of his available resets tonight. That's why he's able to get down so fast and get back out. And he's going to stay right now on paper in 12th. But that might hurt. Or no, check that. Michael Gingerella did not go down the lap down. He's still out there. Is Jeffrey Gingerella involved in that incident? Jeffrey Gingerella, one lap down. Michael Gingerella in 19th. A lot of names keep track out here tonight. A lot of families running out here. But that is one of the really neat things about Integrity Racing League. It's a family league in so many words.
You bet. Looking at the 92 of Michael Campbell here. Now, he started out the race tonight in 12th positions. However, he's drifted all the way back to 23rd. He's back here in the number 92 machine back here. Not a whole lot of help. He's got the 94 Alan Roll out in front of him who helped with a little bit of draft. But Michael Campbell not having the night that he wanted to have after starting in 12th here for sure. He's running about to 8, let's call it 9 seconds in back of the leaders here. But we'll see what's up with that 92 a little bit later on. Out in front of him, though, is the 11 in 21st position. That's Joshua Buckley, up about 2 seconds, a little less than 2 seconds in front of the 92. So I tell you what, these guys got a lot of catching up to do, because then it's another about a second, about 1.2, 1.3 seconds back up to the 17 of Chris Freeman in 20th. So these guys got some catching up to do if they have any hopes at all of mixing it up with the leaders and coming home with a trophy.
Keister still in front. Brad Patton second. Battle now for third between the 74 and the 02 of Chris Schella. Now almost 3 wide between the 74, 18, and 02. 74 forced to check up. Opens the door for the 13 of Matt Wright. Matt Wright, I believe, 12th and currently sitting 12th in points. And he's having a great 9 right now, getting a great run out here on this field. And if he can continue this, he might pick up some points and put himself in a better position in this young chase. 3 races in this chase out here so far. Still anybody's game, anybody's chase to win.
Absolutely, and again, we talked about Michigan at the top of the race here. The cars that race here, I mean, you're approaching speeds of about 210, 211 miles an hour going into turn 1. We're getting about 175, not quite 180 miles an hour out of the trucks here. And again, these are a lot lighter vehicles than the cars are. And, they just handle quite a bit different cars. You would think that the slower speeds would be kind of simple to drive these things around the track. Check it again, cowboy. Strap yourself into one of these things one day and try it out.
The 69 making contact there with the 10 of Thomas Ridgway. So Bruce Koenig and the 10 blows back and forth, door to door. The 69 ends up getting the better of it as he gets down on the apron and gets away. So score Bruce Koenig in the 17th position. The 10, Tom Ridgway, not too happy about it. I've got a feeling if he can get up there and get around him, these guys might be able to do some heavier damage to these trucks than they can before. You can run a little bit fearlessly knowing that you have that reset available to you if you need it. But that being said, I don't think anybody really wants to willingly use it, especially when it comes to, going into somebody or exchanging blows with them, because once you use that reset, you're stuck with the truck you got. Josh Buckley in the 11 machine after that contact with the wall will be your first retiree of the night. He will finish 28th in this field.
And back here in 26th position, Andrew Fayesh, the points leader, continues to have electrical issues with that number 77. He's being shown a 1 lap down here at Michigan. That'll be tough to make up if he can't get that problem fixed. in that truck. Jim Fife still running here. Remember, he was involved in that caution, and the 63 machine currently running 25th. He's the last car on the lead lap. But the battle continues up here in the front. The 02 and the 13 neck and neck coming off of turn 4. Down the front stretch we go. The 13 will take it right down to that white line, put 2 tires over the top. I'll tell you what, Christopher Shayla and Matthew Wright up here duking it out, trying to chase down the leader up there, Colin Keister.
3 by 2 they go into turns 1 and 2. The 02 of Shella under fire from the 13 of Matt Wright. He knows lots on the line out there. They were on the writing on the door of the 02 machine. You see the 74 trying to get around him. The 74 now about to make it 3 wide, going down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. 13 in the chill dog position. They are going to go parade formation through turns 3 and 4, 3 wide. And only one man can ultimately win this battle. The 02, the 13, the 74, all still doing battle, still 3 wide, still parade formation all the way through the front oval.
And looking out the windshield of the 18, that's Brad Patton, watching all that 3 wide action happening out there in front of him, wondering who's the one that's going to give up here as they go 3 wide. He's got the 3 in the middle here as they come off of turn 2. So another 3 wide situation brewing. The 02 on the outside now as the 02 drifts back out of that previous 3 wide up there in the front with the 13 and the 74. So I tell you, lots of action happening up here in the front of this race here tonight, guys.
And the biggest beneficiary of that, Colin Keister, able to pick up 0.6 of a second over the rest of that group. Battle still for third between the 3 of Patrick Davis, the 02 of Chris Shella, and they continue to start forming behind him to continue doing battle. The 02 of Chris Shella all alone out there, but he might be able to fall in line behind the 13 and the 74, and we can go have some great racing left in them. Currently scoring lap 41 of 100. Let's step away as these guys sort it out. You're watching ETV Live's coverage of the Integrity Racing League truck race at Michigan.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live, sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Home of the ETV Live Radio, the HD Radio Network gives you a variety of stations to choose from, including Big 80s Metal, all HDR Classics, all HDR Country, and more. Take your pick and rock your brains out, brother. HD Radio Network stations are featured on iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, and also listed on the Windows Media Guide. Listen today from HDRadioNetwork.com or take it with you to go. Get the mobile app from TuneIn.com on your app store. Still Green Flag Racing here at Michigan with the Integrity Racing League Truck Series. They are in the heat of the chase for the Cup. Colin Keister up front, Michael Guest second, Matt Wright in third, Chris Schella fourth, and we just saw a great battle brewing between the 91, the 6, and the 3. That's Kunstler, Keith, Patrick Davey behind them. Behind them, two guys battling side by side. That's the 18 of the 18 machine. And number 6410 of Michael Gingerella. Check that. That's the 64 of Robert Cook, the 18 of Brad Patton, and Michael Gingerella in the 19. Watching it all happen from the view of his truck.
I've been watching this battle back here with Patton, about 9th, 10th position back here, all the way up to about 6th, 7th. These guys, they were a little bit off of the leaders up there, but they finally caught up. But about 3 or 4 laps ago, these guys were absolutely duking it out and really working hard here to get up to the front. So, Brad Patton, the 18 machine, remember we talked about him. He's the leader of the Rookie of the Year award points. So Patton looking for a strong run here at Michigan for sure. But hey, how about some guys we haven't talked about here tonight? Let's take it back to about 14th position, 00. Just almost looked like he got a little bit of a bumper from, I want to say, well, now I lost it. But the 00 here, Nick Staller back here at 14th position, looking to try to put it together. Looks like he's a little bit loose coming off of turn 4 here. Down the front stretch he goes, trying to hang on to that machine of his. Jacob Fife in the 36 machine back here in 15th position, working himself forward here. I think it might have been him and the 00 might have been playing around with one another there just a couple laps ago. But Daniel Holloway back here as well. Daniel Holloway worked himself up from 20th position on the restart. Now, Daniel Holloway was up there in the front at the start of the race. Remember, we had a couple of those pink trucks up there, Joe, and Daniel Holloway now drifted all the way back to 20th position back here.
Holloway having some issues on his truck. He's got some heavy damage on the right front of that machine. He might need to use his reset when we go into the pits if he hasn't done so already. One of the trucks I'm keeping an eye on all night is a 31 machine of Jeff Barger. He's currently scored in 12. And on your points sheet, he's currently scored in 5th, 38 points behind your leader. He needs a good run tonight. He needs a top 10 to stay within striking distance of your leaders out here. Andrew Fayash III still running out there, currently scored 26, 1 lap down. If we have another yellow flag, he would be your lucky dog for those electrical issues plaguing him. I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep him viable for that championship lead.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, a lot of these guys just absolutely spread out back here in the back, all the way back to 19th position, the 10 truck of Thomas Ridgway. Now, we saw Ridgway up near the front here not too long ago, duking it out, but has settled back here in 19th for the time being. 50 laps in the books here at Michigan Speedway. We have just, we'll cross the halfway point next time by. And we'll be halfway home here from Michigan Speedway. So the racing's been pretty fair, pretty good here all night. Huge battles taking place up there in the front, Joe. And then, like we talked about, around 10th position or so. But the battle is not over yet. We got a lot of laps to go.
Officially halfway in the book. Colin Keister, your leader at the halfway point. Everyone in the top 4 staying in line right now. The 02 peaking under the 74 machine. That's Michael Guest fighting off Chris Schella. And your top 4 have really started to break away from the field. Your top 4, Keister, Guest, Schella, Wright, are all about a half second away from the next group. Bobby Keith, Brad Patton, Cody Kunstler, Patrick Davis, all quite a ways away from them. So the top 4 have really made a name for themselves. Brad Patton now gets a lead off Bobby Keith, the 18 around the 6, the 91 of Cody Kunstler, and the 3 of Patrick Davis. You see gaps right now on that big static camera, and it may not look like a whole lot to you and me. This may look like regular traffic, but for these guys, that is a time zone between them, and they need to figure out some way to try to close the gap a little bit. Otherwise, this top 4 is going to run away with it.
You know, Michigan is one of those tracks, although it's not what they call a plate track, but it is a huge draft track. And, you know, once you lose sight of the draft, if you're out there working by yourself, it's just a matter of time. And it's a long ways to try to play catch-up to get back up to the front. And if you don't have a partner to work with, a dancing partner, hey, it don't matter how much music they're playing. If you don't have a dancing partner, you just ain't going to get anywhere. But the battle continues here at Michigan Speedway. And, you know, these guys are all getting single file up here in the front. Kutzen are up here in 7th position, single file all the way to the front here. So I got a funny feeling these guys are probably minding some business here. And I think that business might be the 4 tires underneath these ponies here tonight as we put some long laps in here from the last pit stop we had for these.
Michael Guest begging the top 4, stay in line. Let's get some gap between us and the rest of the field. They're all heeding his advice, so they're continuing now to run single file through this group. Top 4, only one of them is a chase contender. That is Matthew Wright, currently scored 12th in points out there. And with that, he is gonna, with that, he might get a huge jump in points as a result of this. He might be able to get him through. You know, you might be able to at least break away a little bit, if not cover that 91-point gap that he has. Next closest contender to him is going to be Brad Patton, currently running in 5th.
Absolutely. And, you know, looking at this second pack back here, they're struggling to try to stay in line here. Jeff Barger in the 31 machine, 14th position about here, from about 14th up to about, looks like about 11th position or so. Michael Duell out there in front, kind of leading this pack. These guys got to absolutely stay together, work together, and close that distance. They're about 6 or so seconds off the leaders up there. And, you know, as much as they try to come up from one another, and there goes Duell looking on the outside, or not Duell, but Jacob Fife in the 36, kind of peeking around the 88 machine there, getting out of the draft. So that doesn't seem to help these trucks out very much. You got to stay in line, work together, and try to close that distance. And you can only do it when you got a couple of dancing partners to go along with you.
One guy that's slowly but surely making his way to the front of the field is the 64 machine of Robert Cook. You want to talk about someone who's had a very quiet night. Robert Cook avoiding both of the incidents earlier tonight. Now currently being scored in 9th. The good news for him, there's no one behind him. The bad news is there's no one behind him to help him get up front. I think he's currently satisfied with that 9th place position, especially if later on in the race he can turn that around and turn that into a big run out there.
I just saw, you know what, we're getting some information. Young Kello's on pit road, but I just saw the corner of my eye, Bruce Koenig up here in the 69 truck into the outside wall up here, takes a pretty good lick. And then, of course, that safer barrier juts out right there going into the turn. He smacks into that and almost loses the handling on that truck. It almost comes around on him, but off the throttle and trying to hang on to it, he gets it back in shape here. But Bruce Koenig almost losing it there off of turn 2.
Yankello coming in for 2 tires, 10.7 the stop time for him. Now he'll be at the back of this field. 2 tires, not a good idea here at Michigan, but when you're that far behind, you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Bruce Koenig in the 69 machine can't afford to have another heavy lick like that. He has currently scored 6 in points, 41 points behind your leaders out there, and he needs to get up front. Top 16 isn't going to do it if you're Bruce Koenig.
All right.
So Bruce Koenig continues down there. It looks like we had another guy coming down pit road. Green flag pit stop starting to happen this time around. It's going to be Thomas Ridgway in the number 10 truck. He will come down to the attention of his crew. Looks like it's going to be 4 tires and a full tank of fuel. Your leader's not electing to come down yet, but it's only a matter of time before you got to start thinking they're starting to look.
From Brad Patton forward, it's going to be Matthew Wright, and then Christopher Sheila up here in the 02 machine. Michael Guest in 2nd position in the 74, and of course the leader of the pack, that's Colin Keister up there in the 03 machine. So we're just waiting for these guys to come down pit road as we put 59 laps in the books here at Michigan Speedway. We'll stay right with it until we complete the green flag pit stops. We won't leave here, and keeping an eye on the leaders up here.
69 of Bruce Koenig, next one down on pit road, overshoots his stall, and that'll cost him some position for sure. 4 tires and a full tank of fuel for the 69 will be the call. Meanwhile, your leaders continue to run out there uninterrupted. Colin Keister still out front. It's going to be Michael Guest in second, Chris Schella third, Matthew Wright fourth. Brad Patton now has caught up to him, and he's going to run in fifth. Two chase contenders in your top 5 right now. Wright in fourth, Patton in fifth, Bobby Keith now in sixth. He's starting to catch up to these guys. Now the battle for seventh is starting to heat up. The 3 of Patrick Davis immediately under fire by Anthony Yankello. That's not a battle for position per se, but Yankello wants his lap back, and with tires underneath him, he might be able to get it sooner rather than later.
You bet. We got quite a few more vehicles down pit road. The 31 of Jeff Barger down for his service, 4 tires and fuel for him. And as the leaders start coming in, Keith Dunn was also on pit road completing his service. And we've got some of our leaders on the way down.
Colin Keister in the 03 now on the way down. 74 machine also on the way down. That's Michael Guest. Then also down to the 91 of Cody Kunstner. Jim Fife on pit road in the 63 machine. Michael Gingerell in the 19. All looking for the same amount of service. Keister, 4 tires, right side, left side's up. This time he should drop it and go. Jim Fife gets all 4 tires taken care of. He's down and away. The 74 of Guest gets out in front of the 91 of Cody Kunstner. He's going to lose some position out there to these guys. First one off pit road will be the 74 of Michael Guest. Best pit stop all around. 4 tires and a full tank of fuel. Then it's Jim Fife, Colin Keister, and Cody Kunstner.
2x2 down pit road with Bobby Keith, Brad Patton in the 18, and then we've got Christopher Schella in the 02 making their way down pit road, giving up position. So it'll be 4 new shoes and a bucket of oats for these ponies here as they get their service completed here at Michigan. Now, one word about pit road here, Joe. It is a long ways down, about 3.5 miles, give or take a few, when you're sitting in the cockpit of one of these things at 45 miles an hour. So it's just, you just got to work it through, stay under speed. Do not get a speeding ticket here, because that will be devastating to your performance here at Michigan for sure.
Matthew Wright, currently scored as your leader, comes down to the attention of his crew in the 13 machine. He will be the next leader down pit road. Again, one of your chase contenders, currently scored 12th in the chase. Looking for the same thing everybody else is. 4 tires and a full tank of fuel for him. The 60 also down on pit road. That's Trevor Cameron, gets his service done. 4 in the fuel for the number 60 truck. He is down and away, but he's going to, we're currently being scored in 10th. He needs to get that big jump to get back in the mix of things. Trevor Cameron now coming back on the road. We'll have to see where he scored. Matthew Wright got it done with his crew. 4 tires, full tank of fuel. He is down and away, and we should be concluding our green flag pit stops any moment now.
Jacob Fife out in front with Duel running him down here, but I'll tell you what, Jacob Fife may be on a different kind of a pit sequence here too. Remember, he stayed out on that one, so not quite sure what he's got going. Oh, contact with the 88. I'll tell you what, I think that might have been a bump draft gone wrong here. Michael Duel and Jacob Fife up here duking it up. The 36 able to hang on to it. That just looked like a bump draft gone wrong to me.
Might be a bump draft gone wrong, or it might be a message being sent to the 36 by the 88 of Michael Duel. Remember, Duel is second in points right now and is primed to take away the points lead in the chase. So Duel might have been telling Fife, hey, get out of my way. I want this points lead all to myself. Jacob Fife not giving away the position. He will remain up front. The 88 of Michael Duel in second. The first, your top 2 right now on an island. Next closest competitor is Michael Campbell in the 92 machine. He is 9 seconds away, and that last time by, Michael Guest almost 30 seconds away in a completely different part of the globe than your leaders.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. That's kind of how it plays out here in Michigan sometimes. Campbell down on pit road in the 92 machine. He's coming in for his service. It'll be 4 new shoes and bucket oats for that pony. But I'll tell you, I've engineered a lot of these shows here with Integrity Racing, and I have the luxury of sitting down in the trailer with Laura and just kind of keep an eye on things and monitoring the sound and video and everything. I've watched Jacob Fife. Jacob Fife, he's a contender. He's not one you want to monkey around with. Duel might have have his race cut out for him here. I mean, he's going to do some battle with that 36 before the night's over for sure. So you keep an eye on that 36 machine. Don't count him out of this race quite yet. 66 laps in the books here at Michigan Speedway. Let's go ahead and step away, take a commercial break. You're watching live, ETV Live, Cowboy. There is no other choice. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages, Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
A simulation racing cockpit designed by championship race car driver Bob Earl. Who better than a real race car driver to design a simulation racing cockpit? After all, he knows what it means to be comfortable in the cockpit. His design features a fully adjustable seat and frame, additional monitor stand, and shifter mount sold separately. Proud sponsor of the 2013 RSR Full Cup Throttle Series, a high-quality, affordable virtual racing cockpit, priced at just $349 plus shipping. See it and order one today at BobEarlRacing.com. Manufacturer of the VRC MK2 virtual racing seat. Back live here with Integrity Racing League at Michigan International Speedway. Lap 70, 31 left to go. And before we went to commercial, you saw the 88 and the 36 both pulled down pit road. Michael Duell, Jacob Fife, both coming down pit road at the exact same time. And what a shootout it was between those two. Fife getting the short end of that stick. He falls immediately behind the 88 of Michael Duell. These guys back on track. Scored 9th and 10th. The problem is they're 6 seconds behind, and they need a tailwind to get them moving forward.
I'll tell you what, the big hands move of the night's got to go to that number 03 team here tonight. He started this race in 15th. That's Colin Keister out in front here in the late goings here at Michigan Speedway. If he can just hang on to it, he may be picking up a trophy here tonight from Michigan Speedway. But just a three-way battle happening up here. Now he's got a couple of real contenders at 74 and 13. That's Matthew Wright and Michael Guest. And I'll tell you, this battle will go all the way to the checkered flag if these three stay up here like they are. But about a second, let's call it 1.2 back, is Christopher Sheila in the 02. Now, 1.2 seconds from the lead doesn't sound like a whole lot of time, but hey, at Michigan Speedway, it could be a long ways back. But he does have some help with the 18 of Brad Patton and Patrick Davis in the 3 machine. So working the draft here a little bit as he watch these guys up in the front and kind of mix it up there a little bit. I tell you, these guys back here in the back have just got to stay together and work that draft and catch up to that lead pack.
One more retiree on the field is the 8th of Anthony Yankello. He will pull it behind that wall into the garage, and that'll be it for the number 8 truck. He will be scored 27th on this field, pulling in 7 laps ago. Colin Keister still in the lead. Matt Wright in the 13th second. Matthew Guest in 3rd. And then there's a draft forming behind him. Chris Schella in 4th. Brad Patton in 5th. Patrick Davis. And now the battle is for 7th between the 91 of Cody Kusner and the 6 of Bobby Keith. Both those guys battling back and forth. The 91 has the advantage on the 6, so Kusner will remain in front of that number 6 machine, but Bobby Keith now starting to look everywhere but on the back end of the 91 machine. He wants to get around. The question is, will he be able to? Michael Duell now under fire from the 36 of Jacob Fife. Let's go to the door cam of the 88. You see the 36 right there. He wants a position, and he's going to take it. Not a whole lot holding him back from getting that position.
I'll tell you what, I think we think that Michael Duell at 88 has completed his 4th pit stop. So, according to the rule book, he's done. He may be done for the night as far as the allowed pit stops go. 74 laps in the books here at Michigan, and I know he came down pit road a couple of times, very close together as these guys duke it out here. The 36 up here, Jacob Fife, still out there in front of Duell as Duell works that chrome horn over the back bumper of the 36 machine going into turn 1 here, working that draft, a little bit of bump draft here. Hey, every little bit helps here, but I'll tell you what, Cowboy, when it gets down to that last lap, Joe, Michael Duell and Jacob Fife, they're going to duke it out like the OK Corral.
Last lap's the only one that matters in any race, and these two guys setting up for it. By my count, I believe the 88 should have one more pit stop. He came down under both yellow flag segments. He came down under the green flag pits when everyone else is coming down, so everybody else has only used 2 pit stops. Jacob Fife, check that, it's going to be Mike Duell, has used 3 of those 4, so I believe, if my math is correct, but I could be wrong, he might have one more ace in the hole down there, and if he does, that might make a big difference for him if he needs it, but I'm sure he's hoping he doesn't. 25 left to go at this juncture. Colin Keister up front, Matt Wright, Michael Guest, your top 3.
Somebody obviously bought new batteries for your calculator.
You're assuming I'm using a calculator in the first place.
Oh, well. Anyway.
I was a communications manager, my friend. I wasn't a math major.
Oh, there you go. I'm using the bean count. I'm using a little bit of a chatter coming out of the trailer down there from Laura about bean counters. No, I've been watching Bobby Keith back here, 8th position. He's got the 91 up here. That's going to be Cody Kusner. These guys have been kind of going after it, kind of playing follow the leader here a little bit. 6 looking on the inside of the 91 into turn 3. Looks like he's going to get it. That outside lane up here off turns 3 and 4 just doesn't have the kind of momentum that you need. Now, the cup car might be a different ball game, Cowboy, but I'll tell you what, the 91 giving up that position to Keith as Keith puts a little bit of distance on him here for position number 7.
Michael Guest in the 74 machine gets around Matt Wright for position number 2, and a couple guys working the abacus up towards to see if they can figure out the point system is Matt Wright and Brad Patton, the 13 and the 18. Remember, both of those are drivers in the chase. The 18 of Brad Patton was sitting in second before Martinsville, now currently sitting 3rd in the points. If he gets a big finish and Michael Duell stays at the tail end of the top 10, Brad Patton could very easily be your points leader when we go back, assuming he doesn't have trouble with the 13 all over the back bumper of that 13 machine. Laura, let's see if we can go back on the tailgate of the 13 as you see the 18 and the 02 now doing battle back and forth. The 02 of Chris Schella getting around the 18, no problem. You watch that on tailgate of the 13 machine of Matt Wright. The 18 giving away a position. He will fall back to 5th. Patrick Davis now on his tail in 6th. And with each position that the 18 loses, that gets closer for Michael Duell, and the points gap between them falls.
with 20 laps to go when they cross the line up here. I tell you what, things are starting to get a little bit heated up here about, let's say 6th position or so back here. And I'll tell you what, Bobby Keith, or Patrick Davis rather, back here in 6th position at number 3 machine with Brad Patton out in front of me. He's just, all the way up to the front. This is going to, I got a funny feeling these guys are going to come to battle here just shortly. 20 laps to go here at Michigan Speedway, and it's been a pretty darn good night of racing here thus far. Brad Patton to the inside here of Matthew Wright. Wright giving up the position. That's Matthew Wright in the 13 machine. Patton picking one up, but I tell you what, 2 by 2 up here with the 74 and the 02. That's Christopher Sheila and Michael Guest in 2nd position, and both of these guys are running down the 03 of Colin Keister, who is under fire now from the 02 of Christopher Sheila.
20 to go on the field. It's the 03 of Colin Keister, the 02 of Chris Shella now in 2nd, the 74 of Guest in 3rd, and now Brad Patton once again under fire from Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright wants as many points as he can, try to get a jump on this chase. The 02 gets dangerously close to the 03. 03 now going to work both lines, trying to block the 02 and the 74. Brad Patton gets around Matt Wright, and we still have a shootout for 2nd, Cowboys. It's a 2 forced into the marbles. The 74 of Guest down low, following the 03. 03 goes back up high before makes the pass. Guest now in 2nd, Shella in 3rd, Patton 4th, Wright, Davis, Hickson, or to check that, Kunstner, Bobby Keith, Jacob Fry, Mike Duell, your top 10.
I would have thought that they might be, starting this out here just a little bit early. I probably would have waited until about 10 laps to go or so before I unleash my ponies. But on the other end, I'm not them and they're not me, and I drive covered wagons. So I'll tell you what, these guys starting early here with about 18 laps or so to go here, 17 to go here at Michigan. Brad Patton, all these guys back here. This is going to be a battle. Down to the start-finish line here when we close this thing out. I got a funny feeling we'll probably see some of the best racing all night long here in the closing laps.
Plenty of racing left to go. Interesting stat for you following at home. Top 5 of your 12 chasers represented in the top 11. All 12 chasers still running forward in this field. One chaser that did not show up for tonight's race, Matt Busa, who was one of your Niswick drivers. He was 11th. He will lose points out here as well. Also not being scored on this field, I don't believe, is Brian Harvey. So he's going to lose position as well out here. So 10 of your 12 chase drivers represented in the field tonight. All of those 10 can still running forward. Only 5 of them, though, in the top 11 out there. Let's tell you where they're at. Brad Patton in 18th is currently running 3rd. Matthew Wright in the 13 running 5th. Then there's Michael Duell in the 88. He's in 9th. Jacob Fife in the 36 is 10th. And Jeff Barger in the 31 running 11th. Jeff Barger right now 5th in points, 38 points back. With all the points switching around, he might be able to, if nothing else, retain that 5th place position in the chase.
You bet. And, one of the other drivers that's not here tonight is Bruce Koenig. Koenig, there he is. He's in the 69. Cancel that. Actually, I was looking at the wrong sheet of paper. Koenig out here, who is in 5th and 6th position in the points. Not having the night he wanted to have here at Michigan. He's been involved in a couple of cautions here, and that one wall hit going up into turn 2 rather, like he just did right now. It's a 69 machine. That's the second time I've seen him do that. Going into turn 1, a safer barrier juts out, and he takes a big smack on the right-hand side of that machine, and does quite a bit of damage on the passenger side of that truck. So Koenig not having a good night here at Michigan at all.
Koenig will lose position as a result of this. I'm sure not only on the track, but in the point standings as well. Meanwhile, back up front, battle is for second with the 74 and the 02. Let's go on the door of the 74 machine. 02 gets around him with ease, but here comes the 18 of Brad Patton. You see that from the door of the 74 of Michael Guest. and they continue to battle around him. He is under fire from multiple directions out here, not able to find a draft to hook this wagon up to. No ponies want to give him a hand out there, so he's going to have to figure out a way to work for himself. Meanwhile, Chaser Brad Patton now works his way into the top 3, biding his time for this moment. 14 to go.
Brad Patton working over the bumper of the O2 machine. That's Christopher Sheila up there in front. And again, the O3 comes under fire as the O2 takes a peek to the inside, but the 3 slips right down in front of the O2, cuts him off. Coming off of turn 4 here, down the front stretch we go. The O2 will take it all the way down to the grass. I'll tell you what, Cowboy, that's no man's land down there, the other side of that grass line down there. You do not want to get 2 tires down there. You will go for an e-ticket ride. But I'll tell you what, the battle's shaping up here in the front.
Let's go. You see the split screen now. You're riding on board with Brad Patton, the door view of the 02 machine of Chris Shella. You see just how close those guys are. They're about 3 wide now. The 18, the 02, the 74. The 02 has the advantage with the push of the 74 from Guest. Brad Patton will lose the second place position, might lose third as well if the 74 can hitch up with the 02, and those 2 covered wagons can keep moving west.
Covered wagons.
Paint your wagon, JD. They're 3 wide now.
Paint your wagon, and they are 3 wide up here. I tell you, there is no giving up in these Cowboys up here in the front. The 74 on the bottom of the O2 here. But I tell you what, right back of that is the 18 machine of Brad Patton back here in third. And I believe it looks like they're coming up on some lap traffic up here in the front. And it's going to be, they'll step out of the way, get around that. But I'll tell you what, the lap traffic, nothing more than obstacles as these guys continue to duke it out up here in front. Michael Guest on the bottom with the O2, Christopher Sheila up on the outside here across the start-finish line into turn 1. I'll tell you what, as these guys duke it out, Colin Keister in the 03 machine, I'll tell you what, this Cowboy's doing nothing but looking out that front windshield. He's hitting his marks perfectly every time around, and now working around a lap vehicle here down the backstretch. Use a little bit of a draft. That's the 27 machine of Jeffrey Gindarella here as they go into turn 3. So things are starting to heat up here, Joe.
You're loving to go 10 when we cross the stripe. After with all that battling going on behind him, the draft is breaking up, and that gives him plenty of time to break away. Half a second. Laura, let's go to the blimp camera real quick while we have a chance. 10 to go now. As they cross the line, you see just how big the spread is among all of these guys on the field. You see right there your top 5, your top 6 there being represented in that first group, and then you look back to Michael Duell, Jacob Fife and company. They are a time zone away, 6.5 seconds behind your lead group out there, 6 seconds behind where Michael Guest is right now in the 74. Brad Patton now works his way up to second. He wants the points lead, and he wants it in a bad way. If he can stay well in front of Jacob Fife, right now 6 positions between them. If he can keep that gap between them, he will walk away your unofficial points leader from Michigan. They cross the stripe, 9 to go. Brad Patton second, Colin Keister in first, in control of this field.
Michael Duell and Jacob Fife, as they continue to do battle here in 7th and 8th. They got a little bit of drafting up out of that 91. That's Cody Kunstner back here in 9th position. But, it may be a little too late here with 9 laps to go here for Jacob Fife and Michael Duell. But I'll tell you what, these 2 Cowboys continue to duke it out here at Michigan. But like you said, Joe, they are a time zone away from Colin Keister, Patton, and Guest up there in the front.
You're riding right now with the 74 of Guest. You're riding split screen with those 2, watching the 2 in front get away. Now we're riding on board with the 18 of Brad Patton. You see just how hard he is pedaling it out there. Half a truck between the 18 and the 03. He can taste victory. He can taste the points lead to go. The 18 now ducking underneath the 03. He might have the advantage. He might have the run. He does. Brad Patton will lead this lap. 7 to go once he crosses the start-finish line. But hold on a second. Here comes back the 03 of Colin Keister. Keister up high, now down low. It's a drag race for the lead. The 18 has it on paper. Brad Patton your leader only by 0.02 of a second. Side by side, they go to turn 1, 7 to go.
And I'll tell you what, the 18 fighting hard up here on the top. Now, normally in a Cup car, that would be the prevailing side of the track up here on the top. But I'll tell you what, a lot of horsepower in that 03 machine down there on the bottom as these two continue to duke it out side by side down the backstretch heading into turn 3. I'll tell you what, this is starting to turn out to be a race now, Cowboy. 94 laps in the books. We are on the short side of things here at Michigan Speedway with Integrity Racing. This is chase race number 4 for these guys. So I'll tell you what, this is going to be a good race all the way to the checkered flag.
Keister gets his lead back. Matthew Wright will pull up to second. Number 74 of Guest now pushing to the 18. Check that. He's going to go back down to the 13. 74-13 almost making contact. 13 forced to check up. 74-3 almost making contact out there. The racing is getting heavier. 6 to go on this field. Everybody knowing the gravity of what's going to happen is what's going on out here. Colin Keister continues to lead. The 18-74 in line with each other. 13 of Matt Wright. Oh, 3 now going around. 3, that's a wall hard. He is spinning through the track. This could be the race for the race. Patrick Davis up front. Let's go back up front real quick as they cross the line. 0-3 up front. 18-74. They cross the line first, second, third, and fourth. Caution flag is out. The race is over. Wow.
Unbelievable. Going back to take a second look at Patrick Davis back here as he goes for a, I don't know what you'd call that, Cowboy, a double, triple axle pirouette after he gets out of shape, hits the wall, and just goes around and around and around here right off of turn 2 or turn 4 in the middle of 3 and 4 here. But tough night for that 3 team.
Patrick Davis running well into that group, but ends up after contact with a 0-2, ends up going nose first into the safer barrier, and that will end his race after running 5th through this field. Patrick Davis will be scored 19th, and when it's all said and done, race for all intents and purposes over. There should be no one-lap shootout. At least we do not anticipate it at this time. Keister will continue to lead. 5 laps to go after they cross the line, and that should be enough to finish this race under yellow flag conditions.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, we are waiting official word from race officials to determine whether this is going to end here under caution. We believe it will up here in the booth. We're showing 5 to go here. Actually 4 to go here at Michigan. So we'll wait for official word. But right now it looks like it might be Keister, Wright, and Patton. We're hearing that we may get probably a green checkered at any rate.
In the best case scenario, we will have a 1-lap shootout for the win here tonight, which is exactly what Brad Patton wants to see. If we do not, this race will be over. We will know on lap 98 whether or not that's going to happen or not. So one more lap, we should know if we're going to have a 1-lap shootout or not. Officials talking amongst themselves, weighing it over. We'll see exactly what's going to happen. As it stands right now, Colin Keister is in the lead. Matt Wright in second, Brad Patton third, Michael Guest fourth, Chris Schella fifth, Michael Duell sixth, Jacob Fight up to seventh, Cody Kunstner eighth, Jeff Barger ninth, and Bobby Keith round out your top 10. If this race finishes under a yellow flag condition, it will be Brad Patton unofficially your points leader. Michael Duell should be in second, if not third. Jacob Fife will be up there in third. Check that. It should be Jacob Fife in Michael Duell second, Jacob Fife third, and Andrew Fayash third. Currently scored 23rd, 1 lap down. He will lose the points lead unless something crazy happens on the field. Currently scoring lap 97, 4 laps to go at this juncture. Pace car lights remain on. If they stay on this lap, yes, we will. It looks like the race will be over.
And it looks like the lights are still on. Usually they'll go off when we go into turn 1. We do have one car taking a wave around, but I'm not quite sure Not quite sure what that's all about. The lights are still on the pace car on lap 98, so it may be over.
If the lights go off when we cross the stripe in about 3/4 of the lap, we will have a 1-lap dash for the cash. So all eyes will be on the red hauler with Integrity Racing League painted on the side. If they make the decision, we will have one lap shootout for the checkered flag for the win here, and potentially to shift the paradigm in points. If the lights stay on, the race is over.
Bet. And pace car coming down into turn 3 as we watch it here on the monitors. We'll get a check here just shortly if this thing's going to end or not. But hey, yeah, I want to let part of the cat out of the bag here tonight, when we'll have more information and a press release probably later on in about 6 days or so. We've got 4 brand new shows coming to ETV Live Radio, and they are absolutely top-notch, award-winning, world-class talk shows about racing, both real and not. But I'll tell you what, stay tuned to ETV Live Radio, as we have a 30-day goal of putting 10 hours of programming on the air here as the lights come off on the pace car. Joe, it looks like we are going to get a 1-lap shootout here. Colin Keister has it to lose. Matthew Wright wants it. Patton's feeling the same way. Michael Guest, you can throw him in the mix. How about the 02 of Christopher Sheila?
Michael Duell and Jacob Fife the most relieved to see those lights go out. They have a chance now to fight for the points lead. Andrew Fayash, a third, all the way back in 23rd. He will lose the points lead tonight. The question is, to who? Colin Keister in front, Matt Wright in second, Brad Patton third, Michael Guest fourth, Chris Shella in fifth. It's going to be a 1-lap dash for the cash. The OK Corral is open for business, Cowboys.
I tell you what, get your 6 guns out and get them loaded. This is going to be a double whammy here for sure. I tell you what, you know, the 18, he was duking it out with Keister up there pretty good before that last caution. Patton will be starting in third. He'll be starting behind Keister on the get-go here. So look for Patton to possibly look for a position on the inside. He needs to put Keister up on the outside lane going into turn 1. We'll see what happens when they get there. Now, if you get that truck too far down on turn 1, it isn't going to stick, and you'll run the risk of the back end coming around of your truck. So it's all going to happen here in about 15 seconds as we get set to go green.
Pace car is going to get the heck out of the way. The throw 3 immediately under fire from the 18. Green flag flies, and we are back to the business of racing. One more lap to go before it's all decided. Keister gets the big jump. Matt Wright, Michael Guest in third. Brad Patton nowhere to go. He's in fourth. Michael Duell now jumps up. Will be in fifth. Chris Shella in sixth. Jacob Fife built up back in. He'll be in seventh. 88 under fire for the 02. Meanwhile, the 18 of Patton gets in front of the 74. Patton now in third on the backstretch.
Coming down the backstretch in the 03 machine of Keister, looking to block, get out of the draft, prevent that 13 from coming alongside. But hey, the 18 machine has got company back here. I'll tell you what, that's in the form of Michael Guest and the 74 as they come around for the final turn off of turn 4. Bring us home, Joe.
Colin Keister in the lead. The 13 jumps on the apron. It will be Colin Keister, your winner. Matt Wright second. Brad Patton in third, but only by a nose. Michael Guest fourth. Rochella finishes sixth. Jacob Fife, Michael Duell seventh. Jeff Barger eighth. Michael Gingerella ninth. And Cody Kunstner rounds out your top 10. What an incredible finish.
I tell you what, you know, these 1-lap shootouts are something else, Cowboy. But you know, wishing I'm sure everybody wishes it would have gone green all the way to the finish. That would have been a pretty good duel there. But I tell you, Colin Keister is certainly the truck to beat here at Michigan tonight for sure, as he just put on a show here for these guys. Keister starting in 15th position, Cowboy, made quick work of getting that 03 machine of his to the front, and he stayed there for the most of the night.
Colin Keister, big winner tonight here at Michigan International Speedway. 19 lead changes, 3 cautions, all leading up to Colin Keister winning here tonight at Michigan. A huge victory for that 0-3 team, morally, if nothing else. Stay tuned, race fans. We will talk to your top finishers and go down where everything stands as a result of tonight's race. The post-race show at Michigan International Speedway next on ETV Live.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Lots to talk about here from Michigan International Speedway with the Integrity Sim Racing League and their Chase in the Truck Series. Be sure to join the Cowboy, JD Webb, Jimmy North, and Evan Posco and the whole crew Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for an hour of rewind looking back at this race and other broadcast events, guest interviews, drama, and topics never too hot to touch. The boys ramp it up in the BS and Back Talk segment with thoughts and opinions on some of the hot topics in online racing. It's fun and entertaining. No rules, no BS. Rewind, BS, and Back Talk, 9 p.m. Tuesdays on ETV Live Radio, and tonight's one-lap shootout will definitely be a point of contention for them that Tuesday night. You don't want to miss it. Colin Keister, your winner here. Matthew Wright, second. Brad Patton finishes third. Michael Guest, fourth. Chris Schella finishes fifth. Jacob Fife in sixth. Michael Duell, seventh. Jeff Barger, eighth. Michael Gingerella in ninth. Cody Kunzner in 10th. Daniel Holloway, Bruce Koenig, Bobby Keith, Thomas Ridgway, and Keith Dunn rounding out your top 15. The rest of the field is as follows: Chris Freeman, Mike Campbell, Trevor Cameron, Robert Cook, James Hickson, Jim Fife, Andrew Fayash III, Alan Roll, Jeffrey Gingerella, Nick Stalker. 3 retirees on the field: Patrick Davis, Anthony Yankello, and Josh Buckley, calling it a night early here at Michigan. Coming out to the Gatorade shower is Colin Keister, your winner here at Michigan. And Colin, I don't know what you guys had in that car tonight, but it was definitely an inspired run for you and the 0-3 team.
Yeah, the car was pretty good. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I didn't like the setup very well, but it worked out pretty good.
For not liking the setup real well, you guys definitely made a great run of it. Where did you think was the hardest part of contention with that setup, and how are you able to mitigate it?
I had a real issue entering turn one. I thought I backed it up a little too much, and people could get a run on me.
They were able, though, to keep in front of you and keep it moving forward. Where was the sweet spot for you and the truck? Was it the high line? Was it the low line? Where did you feel like you guys were running the fastest at?
Right there in the middle line, you just got to clip the seam just barely down the bottom. It handles really good down
Did we saw you jump on the apron at least a couple of times out there on the field going through that front stretch? Did that help you at all, at least to turn the truck or to gain a little bit of speed going into turn one?
Yeah.
Pit strategy, real quick. Let's talk about how you guys were able to make pit stops work for you. You only took 3 or 2 of your required or your available 4 pit stops. What was your idea of going behind pit strategy tonight?
Well, we got down there about 40 laps to go, so when I decided we'd take 4 because 2 tires. I'm not really sure if that would have worked out on that long run.
Colin,
we got lucky there with the car. Oh.
Go ahead. No, finish your thought. I'd love to hear more about it.
We got lucky with that caution at the end because they were catching us there near the end of the race.
Were old tires going to be an issue for you in the 0-3 team?
Yeah, I think I burned them off a little too much there on that.
Colin Keister, your winner here at Michigan International Speedway. Real quick, Colin, I know you guys aren't running for the chase out here tonight, but it's got to be good finishing on top of the field. What's the idea for the next few races, for the remaining races here in the chase?
Just try to come out and run strong, get good finish.
Colin Keister, it's shout out time, my friend. Anyone you want to give a shout out to? Who makes it work for you guys?
I'd like to thank GoPro and my teammate Michael Guess. He helped me out a lot during the race.
Colin Keister, your winner here at Michigan International Speedway. Congratulations on a big finish, my friend.
Thank you.
Cowboy J.D. Webb is caught up with our second place finisher, the highest performing chaser out here tonight, Matt Wright, driver of the 13 machine.
Absolutely. I tell you what, Matthew Wright, you got to feel pretty good about your run here tonight. Second place finish. You pretty much stayed right there in front, qualified here third here tonight at Michigan, and then was able to keep that machine of yours, within sight of the leaders up here all night. Talk about your race, bud.
Yeah, it was a real good night for us. Good points finish. We really needed it bad. Basically, we just, tried to hang around the front the entire night just to make sure we could stay up there and tried not to get caught up in any trouble, and we did that pretty well, I think.
You're sitting 12th on the points coming into Michigan tonight. Just ahead of you, just 1 point up is Matt Busa. Busa not showing up here tonight, and then possibly, going to bring you closer to a 10th place run here with Jim 5 sitting up here just 9 points away from you. It's got to make you feel pretty good moving up into positions at least.
Yeah, definitely a good night. We're not giving up. We got 7 races left or 6 races, and we're going to push as hard as we can to try to win every one of them and go after this championship.
Now, coming from a big track like Michigan Speedway, 2 miles, big, wide, open spaces here, like a country farm. You're going to be going to Dover next week. Talk about that for a minute. That's a 1 mile track, tricky turns on both ends of the track, especially coming off turn 2. That wall comes up real quick. What's the plan going into Dover next week?
Oh, again, try to stay up front, stay out of trouble. I think we're pretty good because I run pretty well on shorter tracks, so it should be another good week for us, hopefully, and maybe we'll be in victory lane next week.
A good week for Matthew right here in that 13 team here at Michigan tonight. Matt, who makes it happen for you, partner?
I just got to thank everyone here at ETV for broadcasting and everyone at IRL for putting on a great league, and it's just fun out here.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, a lot of fun here tonight. 13 team in a joyous situation down here on pit road. I'm going to throw it back up to Joe Cortez. I believe he's caught up with our third place finisher.
Brad Patton's the only one left beside the 18 truck. The entire crew waiting for the unofficial points to be released, and for good reason. Brad, after a big third place finish tonight, you should be the unofficial points leader in the chase.
I think Michael told me I was going to be in second place, but if I'm points leader, that's even better.
Knowing that points were on the line tonight, how did that change your strategy? We saw you just drive incredibly aggressive, especially at the end. How much of the chase inspired your run tonight?
Oh, it inspires it all the time. I mean, we're in the race. We're in the race for the chase, and my whole goal is to win the chase. So I don't want to put myself in position to wreck or get taken out like last week. But I wanted to start from, just lead a lap at the beginning and then fall back because it was kind of hectic up there. So I fell back in that, and then when we had that last pit stop there, me and Chris were a couple seconds behind, so I just decided to push Chris back up to the front and see where it went from there.
2 wide, almost, and sometimes 3 wide racing up at front. How difficult was that racing up front? How difficult was it running back and forth 2 wide, 3 wide, knowing that at any given moment, any time, that could go away in a hurry, and all it would take is one slip to end up to put your car into the wall or truck into the wall and put it behind the garage? How hectic was that, knowing that danger was always on the line?
That's exactly what I was thinking. When I got 3 wide for I want to say it was the 3rd or 4th time. I was like, you know what? I got to back out, take the points wherever you can finish. If the wrecks happen, let them happen in front of you, and that way you can try to control your destiny for the race. But yeah, it was it was pretty hectic up there.
So, Brad, you will go into Dover next week in the top of the points bracket, either first or second. Completely different style of racing. What are your thoughts? And have you even thought about strategy-wise what you need to do to make sure you're at the top of the points lead leaving Dover next week?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Don't wreck and finish ahead of Anderson. But no, I'm not a particular fan of Dover, to say the least, but I'll go there, try to get the truck to handle how I want it to, and take it easy. That's what I want to say. I'll take it easy.
Definitely the thing to do at Dover. Before I let you go, any shout-outs, anything you want to say? Who makes it work for you in the 18 team?
ETV, broadcasting, IRL for hosting this, Pro Powder and Paint, Butt Kicker for coming on during the season, Bud Light, best drink in the world, and family and friends, out there watching. And yeah, that's about it.
Brad Patton in the 18 machine, unofficially second in points, less than 5 points behind Michael Duell. Brad, we look forward to seeing you next week at Dover.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Brad Patton finishing third in the 18 machine. So, Cowboy, let's take a look at the points as they should shake out. The top 5 unofficially should be as follows. Michael Duell will inherit the points lead. Brad Patton only maybe between about less than 5 points between those two drivers going into Dover next week. Jacob 5 should be scored third. Andrew Fayash should plus or minus drop to fourth. Jeff Barger still sticks into your top 5. So definitely still anybody's chase when we go to Dover next week, JD. And next week, totally different style of racing, totally different style of driving. These drivers are going to have their hands full.
You bet. And Dover may turn out to be Andrew Fayash's redemption race. He finished winning the race here in the spring race. So, and Matt Busa with a solid second place run. Busa, I believe he's probably out of the running for the remainder of the chase. A couple other notables there. Jeff Barger, who finished 8th here at Michigan. He finished in 5th at Dover in the spring race. Bruce Koenig, who had his troubles here at Michigan tonight, he finished a solid top 10 at Dover in the spring race. So a couple of notables there. Keep an eye on that Andrew Fayash. I think he's going to be out for blood when we get to Dover.
It is definitely going to be a bloodbath when we go to Dover 1 week from tonight, next Saturday, October 19th, right here on ETV Live. That will do it for our live coverage of the Integrity Racing League from Michigan International Speedway. On behalf of our entire broadcast crew, Laura Lawson, your producer tonight, JD Webb, executive producer, joining me in the booth here tonight. I am Joe Cortez, once again congratulating our winner, Colin Keister, on a big win here at Michigan International Speedway. We will rejoin this series 1 week from tonight when we go racing live from Dover. Until then, sports fans, we'll see you next time on ETV Live.
Network. Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live Sports Radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.